And welcome back for the Underline Last Days on the Game, the special DLC that came out when you pre-ordered the game, which I did way before the game. Like, yeah, I did it. But anyway, it's very fascinating to me because, well, first off, for the story, there was issues at launch with it. You could not play it. So you had to wait like 1 or 2 days before they fixed it. Interestingly enough, if I go out of my windows, the sound disappears. Like it doesn't get in focus anymore, which is not an issue with the normal game. So I don't know why that is. It's not that big of a deal. Also, I can't change my controls. Literally, the only option that you see there is the only option that I have, which is kind of annoying. So I have to play with different button controls for than usual. So hopefully it won't be that bad. I was trying to read the credits. Like I thought there was like some messages. So let's read what it was said. Many players may have wondered, why is Yoko so strong right from the start of the game? He showed well set us to answer the question and flesh out the character backstory. We see a frustration with their normal life in the Tokyo residential complex, and all this leads her to seek out hidden truth, along with the power to survive in a much harsher environment. Although you are curious, it should give you a better idea of what Yoko is all about. Although you just started the game or already completed it, I hope you enjoyed this deeper glimpse into the world of the Underline Last Defense Academy. Kiwei Oyama, I have no idea who you are, I don't remember your name. But Kodaka, I know who he is. I'm surprised Chikoshi hasn't said anything. In the game, we see what life in the Tokyo Residential Complex is like from the point of view of the main character, Takumi Sumio. What about the other members of the Special Defense Unit? Instead, provide a precursor showing a different perspective, through the eyes of Hiroko Shirozara. Her life contains some pretty impactful episodes which have greater consequences later down the line. You may find yourself drawing collection with this short novel story as you progress through the game. It's also a fun way if you already finished the game or looking for something extra. So I decided to do that because they said like, yeah, it doesn't matter, like, they haven't like kind of like hinted that it's good to read about it before playing the game. So I was like, yeah, might as well. What's very fascinating to me is that it says File 03 and former lives of the Special Defense Unit. So, are we gonna have more DLC in the future? That would be cool. I would love to see that. Although I feel like maybe a bit too I don't know, it depends on the reason. But yeah, anyway, let's jump right into it. A girl from the Tokyo Residential Complex, resident of Ota City. Calm, elegant, the cool beauty type. She acts as the part of a model student, but secretly crave excitement. Every night, she visits the complex pleasure catered to test all that life that others would. Oh, okay. Inside the complex, every day was peaceful and safe. Nothing ever happened to upset the status quo. Beneath this vast artificial ceiling, people lived lives completely cut off from the natural world and its dangers. Oh my god, that's a novel. Oh, I should have figured. Oh boy, I'm here for a board. Oh, it's the same system as Raincode, the one that we have with Recon. Okay, let me see the option. Scroll fast. Show you a bookmark. Okay, well, let's read. That's gonna be a lot of reading. It never rained in the Tokyo Residential Complex, nor did it snow, nor was it ever threatened by strong winds or thunderstorm. Little wonder, for in the complex there was no sky. The whole city was encased in a giant dome. Beneath this vast artificial ceiling, people lived lives completely cut off from the natural world and its dangers. It's not the best to read with this song, I will say. Kind of feels weird, but that's my complaint so far. But inside the complex, every day was peaceful and safe. Nothing ever happened to upset the status quo. Natural disasters, wars, and political strife were all but unknown. Crime rates were low and quality of life was high. Happiness could be defined as a lack of suffering, but the TRC was nothing short of paradise. The people on the streets all wore smiles. Adults headed off to work with contented looks on their face, while children went to school laughing and chatting with their friends. You never saw anyone walking diligently with slumped shoulders. 99% of the population were perfectly satisfied with their mundane average lives there, and everyone had the same values. There was someone out there who happiness and contentment just seemed to have passed by. To make extremely few in numbers, they did exist. This is the story of one such outlier, Yoko Shizuhara, resident of Ota City, 5'11", long sleek hair, cold pleasing eyes looking out from behind rimless glasses. Straight A student, perfect attendance. She attended Ota's Girl Eye, a good school all things considered. She was considered a model student. It appears considered the cool bird beauty type. Yes, from an outsider perspective, that's the kind of person Yoko SHIZUHARA was. On the inside, though, the city might as well be a sty for domesticated pigs. But truth was, Yoko found life in a complex unbearably dull. She found it irritating, the way everyone went about their lives with such oblivious contentment. She wasn't like that. A safe, normal life that didn't appeal to her in the slightest. What Yoko wanted was excitement. Like me, but that's exactly how I am. Just puts on a like of being a model citizen, of course, like those saying when a wise oak hides its talent. During the day, Yoko Boria had content for a peaceful existence and acted like she loved the city. During the day. At night, she adored a true natural and wild. 12 a.m. Yoko crept out of her house and settled into the night. She hopped on a mountain bike and cycled out of Ota to Shinjuku. After a while, she saw a glow of neon signs up ahead. She reached Kabukicho, Tokyo's residential complex pleasure quarter. Due to its name, the complex was mostly made of residential housing, rows and rows of drab, uniform buildings, but each was also a shopping district where citizens could buy all that they needed for everyday life. In the same time, they were a pleasant place to go shopping or enjoy a quiet moment to oneself. At night, they were practically unrecognizable. Drunken businessmen lounged on the roadside, hosts in thick black suits carried out to potential customers, and scouts made their way to their clubs arm in arm with their patrons. The peaceful atmosphere of the day was replaced by raucous, uncouth rackets. This was no place for a high school girl to be wandering around after dark, or so one might think. Oh, it's Yoko! Lady H! Everybody, here is here. Here is, ugh. What a dumb name. The people was not only recognized her, but were thrilled to see her. They all began crowding around and calling out to her. Where are you going out tonight, Yoko? Come to your house waiting at your club again? Those things have never been the same since that first time. Oh, come join us sniffer under the bridge. It me will come up again, Mistress Yoko. It had been a year now since Yoko started wandering the nighttime street instead of greater stimulation. Eventually she ended up in Kabukicho, on just a different side of her life, experiencing all kind of emotion, doing all kind of things. Well, that's very vague. One night she pulled out a suit, put on a suit and joined a house club, selecting a new record for the most money earned in a single evening. Another night she got to a BDS camp delighted the subs there with merciless whipping techniques. I love that. She participated in one underground rap battle tournament. She targeted the wall of an abandoned building, creating a masterpiece in spray paint. She went on the road outside concert and walked the Kabukicho revelers into absolute frenzy. Surface to say, she had no shortage of colorful anecdotes for a time here. The talent she during the day had all come out in all glory, and she practically became the ruler of the nighttime realm. And the others were also just to be around there, and yet, you're in the way, move! Yoko dismissed them all. Oh, that was Yoko, sorry. I thought I was like some random guy. We were way around. She gave someone already started to cling to her. Nighttime Yoko was proud, only solitary. She was there to live up to anybody's expectation. At night, she was now then, what kind of stimulation should I seek out tonight? She can sit from soft front to strong front, club to club, host, escort, dominatrix, rapper, graffiti artist, bodyguard, street vendor. There's so much she could do, so much she could be. There was no shortage of exciting pastime here. Or at least that was how she was to feel about it. At some point, Yoko had wandered off the main streets, the tumult of the town faded into distant silence rain. Tired of walking, she sat on a guardrail by the side of the road and sighed. So we got up, but of course, there was no stairs leading up the night, just a giant ceiling with its light turned off. I don't know what's wrong with me entirely. Nothing I do seems to excite me anymore. Maybe I reached into a jacket, taken the plush phone charm, and began talking to it. It seems to find this part of town so stimulating, but it just all feels tedious. I wonder why. The plush kid she was speaking to was a mascot character called Entree. It's got the same for its somewhat grotesque design, being a cute animal with its guts hanging out. Well, that's cool. I was considered to be such war tales that had caused a public outcry on it to recall just 3 days after its first win or sale. Look what happened to the plushie store on the day release and suddenly fell in love with the adorable character. Now she took one with her everywhere she went, keeping in their bra so they never have to be apart. Okay. I suppose she just got bored of the night. She went on her chest. Thump, thump, thump. Air was beating a steady, even rhythm. When was the last time she felt her pulse race? What do you really want to do? The reason Hiroko always got so bored of everything was probably because she had yet to find a true passion. What she supposed to know what would make her happy? What could she do in a boring war like this? Hey, Aunt Sweaty, I've been having this weird thoughts lately. We should meet her would lead a complex and blow up on a hole in the ceiling. I just could be a terrorist that like on all these buildings would fall down like dominoes. Just said it's fantasy like that. I must be dealing with a lot of pent-up frustration. Tear it all down, she thought. Still looking at where the sky would be. Destroy it! My everyday life, this tedious world, all of it. Oh, she's gonna be fun in the routes, the different routes where she's gonna be batshit crazy, I bet. Wishing a star was one thing, but she could even do that. There was no sky, no stars, shooting her horizon, nothing to pin her hopes on. The night wore on in a lonely silence. Eventually, she decided it was about time to call it night and get home. She didn't want to get back too late and risk her parents discovering she'd be out of her own. Yuko's parents were rather average people. If one of their teenage daughter had been wandering the streets at night, they would probably both have heart attacks on the spot. She tucked on Charlie back into his usual place and just said it was The quiet of the night was settled with scenes of Lucifer. This is an unusual announcement. The complex danger level has been raised to yellow alert. All citizens, report to your nearest shelter until further notice. Flicker mounted on the streetlights, played the familiar recorded message. The door began opening as people came outside, most of them still in their night attire. Another alert? I feel like there's more of them lately. Where's the nearest shelter again? Be careful on your way down, everyone! Half sleepwalking, the citizen did as they were told, lifting a manhole cover and climbing down the ladders from the underground chamber. Mommy, I'm sleepy. Don't yawn while you're on the ladder, you're going to fall off! Everybody remained calm for adults and children alike. The security alert was just another part of the daily lives after all. An alert now? This isn't going to be awkward. With a wave of sighing, Eriko turned away from the roadhome and joined the line from the shelter. It moved smoothly and quickly, and before them, she was at the front, gripped the cold metal of the ladder and prepared to climb down. She wasn't looking forward to this at all. This shelter's orders could last anywhere from 10 minutes to several hours. During that time, she'd be stuck down there with a bunch of people she didn't know. It's not that she had not much chance in the matter. When you were done, you had to go to the shelter. Everyone living in the TRC. That was just common sense, wasn't it? Wait, what are we taking the shelter for anyway? Opening the manual covers and climbing down the ladder had been part of her life for as long as she could remember. For some moment, at that moment, something about it felt unnatural. I mentioned about it. Wasn't it strange for someone else before the list to have so many security alerts? Weren't they by definition an indication that danger was close by? Danger? Here in the complex? Excuse me, what is that alarm for? Yoko paused on the ladder or looked at the next person in line, a middle-aged woman. What is it for? It's just an alarm. So we know to take shelter. The lady replied, tilting her communal. I know, but what are we taking shelter from? Does it mean there's some kind of threat to the complex? Does it seem a little strange to you? Threat? It's only an alarm. We just have to take shelter like normal. You're not listening. I'm asking why we have to take shelter in the first place. But no matter how Eriko tried to rephrase the question, she kept getting the same answer, and the conversation went around in circles. It was like what she was suggesting. The very idea of there being a reason for her was a completely alien concept. Why are you so difficult? Just be a good girl. Get in the shelter. The lady snapped. Oh, sorry. Finally starting to run out of patience. My people there weren't much better. Quit saying all this weird stuff. You're holding out alive. Did you eat your oil or something? You're your alarm. You go take her to a shelter. Even little kids know that. I think so far as they were concerned, Eriko was a stranger one there. None of them questioned what the alarm had sounded or whether they had to check shelter. It was an alien concept to them as well. Until a moment ago, Eriko had just been like them. Around the alarm sounded, I focused it. Automatically shifted to taking shelter. And she walked over to the nearest maroon cover without really thinking about it. Or she was thinking about it, and she didn't like it. Now the lid went off, all kind of doubts and questions were bubbling to the surface. A lady popped into her head, more a conspiracy theory. Really, but it made weird kind of sound. Was it one of TRC having their thought suppressed somehow? Come the complex administration have consulted them for all to accept the shelters or the question? If that's the case, why am I noticing that something's wrong all of a sudden? The woman thought, and she had to answer. Two levels of the night are boredom with the city and life in general as reached its peak. The feeling of being cooped up there must have shaken something loose on some line of mine. Oh, I thought it was like she fell off something. The heart was beating faster now. It's like crazy, whatever was true. What then? What did the administration want them to take shelter so badly? Was something going on that they didn't want people to know about? Was that why we ingrained the idea of take shelter when you hear the alarm into everyone's mind? Just them away? Of course, I bet the question, what was the curious and complex hiding? It was obvious, wasn't it? Maybe some sort of danger over there. Something that went against the TRC scarcely constructed image as a peaceful place. War? Gonna scream? Protest? Execution with Dutriel? Whatever it was, Eriko wished she could see it for himself. She became aware of her beat again. Her pulse was racing, heavy sprawling around. She knew what her heart was trying to tell her. We see in chapter 2, by the way. Then go see what is See what needs this alarm might be used to cover. We just find the ultimate source of stimulation. Finally, she knew it, she was on her feet and running. Hey, where are you going? There's no shelter that way. Stranger casual as she ran past, there was no stopping her. Come, go on. Elle seems to say, find it, make it your own. You could run full speed down the Zambolan swing side of the solution with misery. She turned the corner, once went and then turned again, over the crossroad. She didn't know where she was going, she was just letting her instance guide her. But she knew she could do it. She wouldn't let this chance get away. She found what she was looking for. From the Shinjuku crossroad, she measured to a four-way intersection and then... What? That's what she discovered the Citrus secret. Chapter 3. Well, what is that thing? Some kind of mascot costume? At first glance, it was a giant teddy bear well over 6 feet tall, but didn't have any fur, and his skin was blue with plasticky, toy-like skin. It had just one big eye in the middle of its oversized head. One big eye cavity with small small looking out of it. I'm imagining like the music, like the battle music when the siren goes on. The bear thing began to move. It lumbered around on 2 legs, coming right down the street. It had to be a costume. It should even be someone inside. And turned to look at Yoroko. The moment their eyes met, she knew. This was no costume. It was alive. It was actually a genuine monster. Warning, the creature sprang to her. Yoroko spun around and fled back the way she had come. It was a strange, high-pitched roar. The monster gave chase. It didn't move very fast, but it had a wide enough stride that it could cover a lot of ground. It was a matter of time before it caught up to her. She scrambled onto an ice stone wall and down the other side, into a part of the complex she didn't know. There was no way that big, clumsy thing would clamber after her. She'd be safe now, or so she thought. What? There was an immense crash at the wall was blown apart, concrete flying through the air like it was nothing more than styrofoam. The monster had smashed practically without missing a step. What in the world is that thing? Our strategy wasn't going to work here. There was no time to stop and think, she just had to run. She ran around the narrow alleys between buildings, throwing plastic buckets and anything that she could find at her attacker. She ran onto an air conditioning unit, kicking off the wall and diving to an open window. She ran off the door in the opposite direction, once again following a narrow alley. The parked car blocked her way, but she lunged forward and performed an unsprint to clear it in swift movement. She jumped up the stair of a pedestrian bridge 2 at a time, but jumped off the window and into a tree. She did every kind of parkour maneuver she could think of, but through it all, the monster kept up its dark pursuit. Yoroko stumbled and fell on the pedestrian walkway. She knew she had to get up and keep running, but her body was reaching its limit. She was breathing so heavily her vision was starting to blur. She didn't know where she was anymore. The monster was coming closer and closer. A matter of seconds was already upon her. So this is it. This is where I die. Now she knew that one was coming. Everything seemed to move in slow motion. She saw the monsters standing over her in vivid detail as it raised an arm, ready to strike. The club-like arm, the 3 sharp claws, swinging down to her head. It would all be over soon. Open fire! A gunfire voice rang out, seeming from the air. Suddenly there was a noise like gunfire on some kind of liquid? Blood? Started spewing out the monster body. I stumbled back, opening in pain. Another round of shots forward, knowing the things a moment rest. Blood splattered all over Yoko's glasses, turning her vision red. Somebody shooting it? Whatever was going on here, this could be a chance to escape. Still unable to get to her feet, she began to desperately scramble away. Good call, Missy. I'm gonna want to be there when this goes off. The gruff was again so ball landed at the monster feet. No, not a ball, a hand grenade. Yoroko instantly closed their eyes, covered their eyes, and one later, the force of explosion sounded her wheeling. Noise as all her eardrums. The burst of light was so bright she could see through her eyelids. There was a high-pitched ringing in her ears, and everything went white. If she hadn't closed her eye when she did, she would have been blinded. Whoever these people were, the killer wouldn't pick up or collateral damage. It seems like you managed to kill that monster, though. Her eyes and ears hadn't quite recovered from the explosion yet, but the thing was dead now. She could feel it, with her life no longer in danger. She could take a moment to calm down and take stock of the situation. What even was that? An animal? Some kind of weapon? Where were the men that saved her? Yoriko waited in pursuit for the world to come back in focus. After a few minutes, the glare finally faded and she felt safe enough to open her eyes again. Hey, excuse me, but what are you doing? She asked ignorantly. I love yours. We're taking out the score. I'm instruction to give us our bounty if we don't bring this back. There were 5 rugged-looking men, all dressed in leather jackets and sunglasses. They looked like a biker gang out of an old Hollywood movie. The 5 of them were gathered around the shattered remains of a bear thing, digging into its body with several knives. Damn, why would the enemy's body have to be so tough? It's gonna blood my nerves, you sweat. We're halfway there, 50% the enemies. So this thing has a name. We're more like it out there. These men tell them in exchange for reward to people in charge. Was that how it worked? We could prepare the men with question. What were the enemies? Where did they come from? Why does existence being kept a secret? But the man ignored. He just went on carving up the enemy's body and went put a glittering metal in blood for his always. Listen, Missy, one of them said. You want to stay alive? You best forget about all what you saw here today. Next time you're an alarm, just head on the ground like everyone else. We had to run another way, because in no position to stop them. All she could was watch them go. The refusal to tell her anything was probably a kindness in a way. In their eyes, she was just a normal girl who got a glimpse on the hidden world. Wanted to spare her for learning too much of on this danger. She understood yet. There's no way I could ever forget that. She had an uncle with the unknown. She with one of my very life at stake. She explored the thrill of coming face to face with death. She had found the ultimate source of stimulation and excitement. Forget about it. That wasn't going to happen. She would never go back to living a normal life now. Her heart was racing like never before. I think I finally found a place where I can belong. From that day on, Yoko devoted herself to fighting the strange enemies that threatened the complex. Chapter 4. Before she could even begin fighting, she needed information. We took the connection she formed by Kabukicho on the money she got at Ost at one time. It didn't take long for her to find what she needed. The enemies, yeah. That's what they call the creature that shows us to break stuff. Oh, the enemies, yeah. That's what they call the creature that shows up to wreck stuff every now and then. Informant told her, tumbling through the stack of bill the Yoko was giving him. They're different types, you know? Like a dog's a dog. But different breeds are still a thing. So like the one you only to was a grizzly. A grizzly? She had thought it looked like a teddy bear at first. Abondy was the type that relied on brute strength, using the power form to mow down anything in its path. Yoko cleared its throat and clenched her fist. Now that she knew its name, her goal had become that much clearer. She would find a grizzly and kill it. The demonstration was I want to think the complex is all safe and peaceful. That's why we don't tell regular folks about the enemies. They are the subliminal message to keep people nice and compliant. When you hear them, you have to go to a shelter. Don't ask questions, I think it's fine, just go in a shelter, that kind of thing. The informant went on to tell her how the complex had been ending the situation. Whenever the strange creature attacked, a secure alert would go off in that ward. Once the citizens were safely out of the way, the enemies were dispatched. Obviously, it was elite army troops who took care of this murder. But the Tier 6 standing army was too small to deal with all the attacks that occurred around the city. Guess that's why they put the bounties out, said with a shrug. To help cover their insufficient manpower, the administration had a weapon to find their way to a certain citizen, offering cash rewards and insist them into fighting for the good fight. That's what those men Yoko had encountered before were bounty hunters. As to what kind of people those bounty hunters are, well, outcasts and misfits mostly. Kind of like you, Yoko. Folks who can't stand their peaceful life here. Folks that want the taste of danger. With people like that, one day the condition is just sort of comes and down. Well, it's only a matter of time until we run into the enemies. The war against the creature had been going on for centuries, but no one seemed to know what the centuries? Whether natural, artificial, supernatural, nobody could say for sure. Does the complex administration really not know? Yoko asked. Somehow I found that hard to believe. I know a lot that goes on here those guys don't know about this federal right. Wouldn't surprise me if they were hiding that too. The crane is deck toward Minato City, while even from here in Shinjuku, the Tokyo Tower could be seen rising above the rooftops. At the high points in the complex, the top floor of the tower was where the administration had its headquarters, looking down the domain, or so the rumors went. I thought this place was painful. There was a lot going on under the surface. While Yonko didn't really care about what the people in charge did or why, she wanted to fight the enemies and live an exciting or extraordinary life. Nothing more, nothing less. Me too, Yoko. As she learned what she could from the secondary sources, Yoko moving on to observing the enemies firsthand. When the alarm rang, she could head out in search of her quarry, watching them through high-powered binoculars. The same informant told her the enemies came in all shapes and sizes, but projecting those one about the food and half-tall, alien-looking ones with tentacle arms, one that specialized in range attacks. One of you could count on your fingers at any rate. She didn't focus on the grizzly for now, so she was concerned that type was the enemy, of the type that had made her feel so powerless before, on the target of her revenge. Once she discovered one, she could take notes with proportion. There were some high-tech measuring instruments, a clear picture started to emerge. I'm not gonna read that. Those were the average, Yoko managed to work out observe special specimen. There was still room for individual differences even among the same enemy type. Weaver was basically covered, she moved on to observe the grizzly behavior. Over the next few months, she made several key delivery. Yeah, by the way, I'm using meter system, so I don't know shit about what that means. Oh, sorry. Grizzly were highly aggressive to arguments, but also a person who became agitated and chased after them. Swapping their mystic arm was their only method of attack. They couldn't kick or headbutt, but were never seen to use weapons. Their intelligence was limited, probably on the same level as an actual bear. Well, they do remind me of like the Despair enemies. Like the another episode, Ultra Despair Girls. They knew how to avoid friendly fire with the other monster, but otherwise like Ted and so had done a strategy. She couldn't find a weak point. She tried watching the bounty hunters attack on the grizzly, assuming they would aim at vital spots wherever possible. Ultimately, the Zenon failed to turn up anything useful. All the enemies, regardless of time, seemed to possess a kind of uniform suddenness across their entire bodies. But that didn't mean they were invincible. They also shared a uniform weakness. Because already gunfire at close range could tear open their skin or make them bleed. Once they lost in blood, they would weaken drastically to the point that guns could then cause critical damage. Background info? Check. Anatomy and behavior? Check. Weakness? Check. That's something into the gory details. How did she kill them? Fortunately, somebody already figured that out for her, the bounty hunter. You need to watch them at their work and take their knowledge for itself. There seemed to be just one way for weak friendliness to defeat monster. Surround them on the attack all at once. When faced with several opponents, the characters seemed to have trouble deciding who to go after first, resulting in a fatal delay in their action. Hunter used the opportunity to riddle their targets with bullets, making every injury, every drop of blood spilled count. Finally, when it was sufficiently weakened, she involved with a grenade. The variation of the strategy, of course, they all boiled down to the same thing. It was like little like hunting or fishing as a group. That was by far the safest. Most of them want to kill enemies. Oh well. No, I have to do it myself. I mean, that's kind of annoying if you have to use a grenade every time. It's a lot of resources. Look at no social journey somebody is their team. Just thinking about all that teamwork and camaraderie with Warrior made us sick. She's gonna strike on her own, then what was even the point of breaking away from normal society? Not hard. Was there a way for her to kill the enemies on her own? These things would charge viciously at her without any hesitation. How could she damage the taking her any herself? Maybe I can try a hit and run strategy. I can outbox her. Her mind went to Muhammad Ali. What? What? He exists in this timeline? Or like in this game? Or is there localization issues? I'm gonna bet that on like localization. There's no way this would be a thing in the Japanese thing. When a boxing grade of 20 centuries. What are you talking about, the 20 centuries? No! No, that must be a localization thing. I don't believe that at all. Fall like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Could she do that? Use fancy footwork to keep the enemy at a distance. Getting it a little at a time to wear it down. Then wait for the final blow. And fury that should make it possible to fight and win alone. In that case, I will stick to lightweight weapons. Letting herself with a lot of firearms will only slow her down. She has speed maneuverability. A small caliber handgun perhaps? No, that wouldn't work. There are bounty hunters always had big guns that took 2 months weird. I could update a handgun could do enough damage and shorter time to achieve the proper results. Using a shotgun or machine gun, also dodging it was unlikely to end well forever. Don't think of something else. I just need to break through their skin and make them bleed. If you have it like that, some kind of blade might be a better choice. A blade. The one seemed to jog in something loose in the examination. Never mind. Then she saw herself wielding an axe, striking it down to cleave her opponent clean in two. Perform an execution with an axe, not a bad idea. 69% by the way. She had read that axe was the execution of tools of choice in medieval Europe. What are you talking about, medieval Europe? Again, I thought like no one knew that there was other countries. No, it's a localization thing, I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't know, maybe it was in the books or something. Didn't the book in the library said like, I don't know, like yeah, there was like overall like religion, over languages, but there was like things from, I don't know. Desire to kill enemies combined with knowledge, what was what had conjured up that image. Swinging around a double-handed battle axe was a question, but something smaller. What wasn't the whole point of the story was that the Tokyo Residential Complex was called that because it was under Tokyo and no one knew what it actually meant? That Tokyo, they didn't know what Tokyo meant. It was just Tokyo Residential Complex because that's where Tokyo was before the planet got fucked. So you wouldn't know what other part of the planet was. You're just reading the story. Whatever. Anyway. The localization is... I'm pretty sure it's the localization fault. You're just fucking the story by saying stuff like that. Something so awesome she could run in one and that just may work. She could even strap into one of her legs and use her skirt to hide it from you. Yes, an axe. That's what she used. But she made that choice. Hiroko went to a hardware store and purchased the end axe. She took it to a swordsmith in Kabukicho and that blade sharpened. It took us through the tough fight of enemies. Once she had her equipment ready, she needed to learn how to use it. She had another modern Kabukicho warriors at training ground went there to practice every day. First of all, her business was practice swing. She swung the axe over and over again to get used to the feeling. Yeah! Yeah! So to get a better feel of its weight and the best way to handle it. Yeah! Yeah! She moved it off from regular swinging to aim at targets, including control and precision. To try on her, to find a regular grip, her ideal sense, her ideal swing. Yeah! Link sounds over her. Yuka's never learned any kind of martial art, but seemed to have an instant knack for wielding the axe. It hasn't been even 2 months since the started training, and it already felt like an extension of her body. There was a difference between just swinging the axe around and casually cutting through something weird. Showing skid of clothes from the way of ceiling, but nowhere near as tough as the enemy skin, but will do for now. There was more to cutting something that's simply hitting the target. Longer of the blade, the wind up and follow through, the strength of the swing itself. Only when she got all that just right did the axe slide silently through the cloth, leaving a smooth satisfying cut behind. Oh, I see, so this is how it feels. Look forward to herself, looking at the blade and smiling. She was already imagining herself slicing to enemies with the same merciless precision. In addition to her basic training, she was kind of a shadow boxing, envisioning different scenarios and predicting how to respond to each one. Naturally, the opponent she always imagined was a grizzly. She would get around to other enemy types eventually, but she needed to get real revenge on that one first. If it moved like this, she would dodge to the right. If it did that, she would snap step like this. Lucky imagined countless possibilities and drilled the move into her muscle memory. Yeah! Yeah! Until a battle cry after battle cry, she faced down the imaginary enemies. Yeah! Yeah! So her attack coming and move to dodge and counter. Yeah! Yeah! In her mind, the grizzlies kill her, running her body apart with her claws, smashing her through with her heavy paws. Yeah! Yeah! With each death, each failure was an opportunity to learn. Little by little, she was getting better. Yeah! Yeah! Strangely, with each simulated battle, win or lose, a feeling for the enemies started to change. Afterwards, being a sense of gratitude. If she had run into that first grizzly, she would still be living a typical top horizontal complex life, bored of her mind. The bizarre creature had been her guide into a whole new world. Thank you for showing me there was so much more out there. You comfort that she swung out, but the grizzly was a guide, was also a gatekeeper. Killing her for herself will open the door to even more new experiences, more unbelievable sights, more dizzying eyes and crushing blows, more excitement, more stimulation. Hiya! Finally, she finished her 6 months of training. Damn, that's a lot. That took less to the extent I thought it would. A special anti-grizzly training course was complete. I think I'm ready now. Don't you want ready? Ruko said, addressing her phone strap plushie. The day when she got to take her down, her prey couldn't come enough. She stood there alone in the empty walls, an obscene smile on her face. Her heart, once so hungry for stimulation, was beating with ferocity of the wild beast. Chapter 5. Wow, 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 wow. Late one night, the security alarms blared out across Ota City. Regular citizens cheered from their beds and went on into the string, opening mallows covers and climbing down through shadows. Luko, meanwhile, walked away from the crowd and sprinted through the deserted streets. Where were they? Where were the enemies? More importantly, was a grizzly among them? Don't tease me like this, grizzly. Hurry up and show yourself! And fluttering like a love-struck girl on the way to her first date, she ran on, ignoring any others until I knew it! As guided by fate, she would step close to one of the blue bear-like enemies. Was wandering over swooping the street, probably in search of prey. Yuko ducked into a side alley for a moment to get her breathing under control. She took out her handkerchief to wipe the sweat of her brown and come to her. She wanted to to see her at her best. There we go, it's finally time to do this. All the time she encountered one of these things, all she could do was run away. Be nothing but a weak, fragile normal girl then, not anymore. To her name, she beat herself up from scratch into a completely new person. This was no mere revenge match, it was the debut of a brand new era. Her first battle as Hiroko the warrior, Hiroko the executioner. Is he gonna go as planned? Because I feel like she's gonna die anyway. Well then, let's begin. She calmly stepped out in front of the grizzly. The more it saw her, the more taller its white pitch wedge and began to charge. In a few seconds, it was right on top of her. It swung over its massive claw at her face. Too slow. She simply stepped out of the way. The thing's arm flayed harmlessly through the air. Attack again and again, reaching a series of vicious slashes, all which failed to hit their target. Hiroko had done their own work. A grizzly attack range was 9 feet, 10 inches. As long as she stayed at least 9 feet, 11 inches away from it, would be unable to reach her. She went calm and kept perfect of the distance between them. The grizzly swung at her. She rotated 9 feet 11 inches. It swung again. She rotated another 9 feet 11 inches. So far, so good. This is just like I rehearsed it. Testing the fruit of her labor in action, she felt the color of her mouth turning up into a smile. Those clothes seemed so deadly before. Women were no more fright to her than cat toys. Well, nothing to be afraid of. They're never going to either. But she's going to keep dodging all night. She took on the offensive too. She went over for a gap between swipes and then, now! The Grizzly, his right arm swung forward. Yuriko charged in. She avoided the claws and passed by the monster's right flank. But behind it, she turned around and unleashed a slash with her axe. A large gash opened up in the enemy's back. A spray of red liquid echoed behind the door. He gave an angry roar and began flailing his arm like a child throwing a tantrum. Yuriko was already out of its attack range. She saw every attack coming and dodged them easily. What's the matter? Do you have to thrash around quite so violently? Speaking to the thing in mock kindness, she continued carving into its body. She cut its back, its arm, its leg, its face. Did you feel that one? How about that? Does it hurt? The crazy blue body was being stained redder and redder. Oh, why are you crying? That's not going to get me to stop. Damn, pure sadistic over there. Various spot of blood, she was fresh out like that man. It hurts, doesn't it? Let me hear those cries of pain. Cry for me. More! By now, the grave was covered in wounds. It was blood when shadow its former self. Yuriko wasn't done with it yet. She kept on toying with the beast. She was having fun. More fun than she would remember having. More fun than she would thought was even possible. It was beating like a drum. Finally, as a poster on the excitement reaching her feet. You're finished! Using an underarm swing to plunge her axe into the monster abdomen and brought it up in one smooth vertical movement. The monster let a wordless death rattle as one last spray of blood burst off its body. Now completely powerless, it turned back on its head. Boom! And fell back to the cold, hard ground, motionless, dead. Execution complete. Yuriko silently muttered to herself, tossing her dogs on the blade stuck in the asphalt. Her first battle had been a resounding success. Any unpleasant memories associated with her previous encounter had been totally redone. Chapter 6. Thank you, I had fun today. Even though the battle was over, Yuriko stayed at the Grizzly's side. She knelt next to its corpse on the first word of earthly gratitude. And thanks to you, I was able to break free from my own life. She patted the monster as she was reluctant to leave it. The more she patted, the more affection she seemed to feel. Her arm wandered down to its cheek, its neck, its arm, its claws again. Oh my, now this is pretty. She thrust her arm into the gash at his stomach and gently caressed his inner. Look, Aunt Freddy, a new friend for you, Yuriko said, taking one plushie and showing it what she's done. Her axe opened the Grizzly wide up, revealing a gruesome of small blood and guts, including several internal organs blue like its skin. Squish, squash. She ran her arm tenderly over each and every one, revealing the wave that fell beneath her big fingers. While she was doing that, she realized something. She's fucked up. I finally did it. I found that one irregular thing to give my life meaning. She couldn't go back to being a normal girl now. Even she wouldn't. Yuriko promised herself she would do this again. She would keep fighting. Her fingers closed around what must have been the Grizzly's heart. She yanked it on and held it aloft. Still slick with warm, sticky blood. The air glinted the glare from the streetlights like a beautiful shining star. Looking up at it, Yuriko thought back on the battle she just fought. That was so much fun. A battle to the death, lasting only a few short minutes, with combatants. Oh my god, combatants! Combatant mission! We're 450! Risking everything they had. The memory of it gave her chills. Surely there could be no other experience quite as stimulating as this. More, she needed more of this. Once just wasn't enough. She had to face off against these enemies again. That was all she wanted now. I better make a wish. She got to her and threw the Grizzly out to the air. It was the closest thing to a star she was ever going to see on the complex. As the air moved through the air like a gory comet, she gave voice to the enormous universe. I want to keep fighting. I want to live a life full of excitement. Because which would be grounded. The enemies would attack him then, when she would fight then. Experiencing more battle and checking more victory. Eventually, Yuriko SHIZUHARA. Congratulations! You have been chosen! She get the excitement she could under when a peculiar robot recorded into her units and started to strange school. But that is the story for another time. Oh boy, that was interesting, I guess. Well, we know that Yuriko is fucked up, but like we kind of knew that. I don't know what to say. Oh, that was fun, I guess. Enjoyed it. I thought it was more about like how she got into the unit, but no, that was really just her life. Which, yeah, I guess she lives for the thrill of excitement. Yeah, I get it. I'm like this too, in some way. But yeah, anyway. How long did it take me? It took me 40 minutes. That's a lot. little more than I thought. But anyway, there was Formalize the Special Defense Unit 503, Hiroko Shizura, first battle. And we'll see you next time for the actual main game over endings. So yeah, see you next time. Bye.